And we are live. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can y'all hear me and see me? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. All right, so I'm super excited because y'all, I usually don't teach the classes. You guys usually have some awesome. Are we in the practice? Just let me know real quick if you can hear and see me. I want to make sure. Okay, good. I think we can actually press this too. I press start. Okay, good. We are here. Perfect. All right. You can hear, you can see me. Yes. Awesome. All right. So today we're going to talk about noodle budgets. If you don't know, now you know. My sister always tells me I got like, I'm the worst with the neckline. She's like, you and your old 5-year-old neckline. Like I'm 5-year-old with my neckline on that looks like, so I'm trying to fix it so I don't look like what she always tells me I look like. I look like an adult. So if you don't know me, you ought to, because I am co-founder of the Literature Academy, Tiffany the Budgetnista, aka America's fave financial educator. So today, we are going to talk about budgeting, my favorite topic. All right. And so how many of you, just let me know in the comments, have already gotten the book, Get Good with Money? Because we're going to reference some stuff in here. Even if you don't have it, it's okay. If you do have it, it's going to be perfect because this is the space that I'm going to teach from. Let me make sure I'm actually using the right microphone. Okay, good, I am. So that is the tool that we're going to lean into, but you don't have to have the book. If you don't, that's fine. So if you have it, go ahead and grab it. If you don't know, this is a New York Times best-selling book, Get Good with Money. We're actually going to be in chapter 2, which is chapter 2, 10% whole budget building. And I'm going to show you how to do what I like to call a noodle budget. If you have it, go grab it. If you haven't gotten it, you can actually go and get it. Order it later at getgoodwithmoney.com. I highly recommend it. So does the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and USA Today and every other list that we made. So we're going to talk about budgeting today, but specifically, how do you achieve what I call a noodle budget? So a noodle budget, aka if you had to eat ramen noodles budget, is a budget that you pivot to when things get a little bit rough. So 2008, 9, 10, there was a huge recession, so much so they called it the Great Recession. And during that time, I lost my job. I lost my retirement account because I had a condo at the time and I was trying to save it. So I drained my retirement account. I drained my savings. I took all the money I could find anywhere in order to continue, in order to really just try to continue my lifestyle. What I didn't know then was I could have dropped down to get my noodle on. And so I want that to be available to you. So what does that mean to drop down to get your noodle on? What that means is this, is that you look at your regular budget where you normally live. Let's just say your life costs you $5,000 a month. That's your mortgage. That's the kids' daycare. That's insurance. That's all the things that you pay for in order to manage and maintain your life. Your noodle budget might, so your regular budget might also include, you have Disney Plus, you have Netflix, you have all these other things, like maybe you get your hair done, but your noodle budget would take out all the non-essentials. So the things that you don't have to have in order to maintain your basic lifestyle. So you take out the Disney Plus, you take out the Netflix, you learn to do your own hair and nails and whatever, no massages, no nights out. It's a temporary budget that you pivot to when you've experienced financial hardship. So had I known that during the Great Recession, if you see me sneeze, it's because I was at my friend's house today and she had, I'm usually not allergic to cats, but she had a long hair cat and that thing had me, got my tissue on deck though. And so if I would have known, I would have pivoted to my noodle budget. A noodle budget allows you to extend the money that you do have. It's a temporary budget until you get back on your permanent feet. Okay, I'm going to say that again. It is a temporary budget until you get back on your permanent feet. And so, because what I don't want you to be is what I call the lady with the fur coat. So this is no judgment on the lady, because I was a lady with fur coat, but I don't have a fur coat. So I live in New Jersey, and Bergen County, New Jersey is one of the wealthiest parts of New Jersey. A lot of celebrities that live on the East Coast, they will live in Bergen County and then commute to New York because it's very close. So because you can get like a big, huge mansion. So I saw this lady during the Great Recession. It was 2009. She had this big fur coat, this huge SUV. She looked very fancy. Okay, like money. I mean, the ring on her finger. I was being nosy because I'm nosy. The ring on her finger was bling bling. Okay, and I was like, ooh, fancy lady. So we were getting gas, and in Jersey, we don't pump our own gas. So we're getting gas, and she was putting like $20 on her big truck. That was like, remember, this is during the Great Recession. A lot of very wealthy people lost a lot of money. But here she was. She gave the guy her card. First card denied. Because I was waiting to get, for him to start my gas pumping. So I'm just watching. Second card denied. Third card denied. And so she had to get out of her car, and I saw her digging, looking for money. And she was finally able to find like $20 someplace, I guess, I don't know, maybe in her glove compartment. That's why I saw her fur coat. And I thought to myself, because it was during the Great Recession when a lot of people had lost their investments, lost their job, but it was clear to me. So I'm just like being in her business, and this maybe not have been the case, but in my mind, I was thinking she did not pivot, that she's living the same life. And so she's not adjusted her lifestyle to her current circumstances. It's just a temporary adjustment, And so I thought to myself, I don't want to be the lady in the fur coat. And so I don't want that for you too. So that's what we call a noodle budget. All right, so let's get to getting. So this is what you're going to learn today. If you don't have one of these, a notebook, just a notebook, pen, get one, okay? Because you've been to learn. All right. So here's what we're going to learn. Well, first, inside, literally, I'm going directly from, if you have the book, take it out. We are starting on page 29, 10% whole, budget building, okay? So because before you can get a noodle budget, you need a budget, right? And so here is the plan. So we're going to do plan, do, review. The plan is I just let you know, what are we going to do today? The do is the actual steps, and the review is a mirror of the plan. Did we work it out? Did we do it? Okay. All right. 1, the plan: to learn how to create, maintain, and at least partially automate your budget, and to create a noodle budget. That's what you're going to learn today. So here's the do. Here are the 8 steps we're going to take. You can write it down. 1, I'm going to show you how to do a money in list. 2, I'm going to show you how to do a money out list. 3, you're going to calculate how much each expense on your money out list costs you monthly. 4, you're going to calculate your beginning monthly savings. 5, we're going to assign control categories to your expenses. This is my favorite step, number 5. 6, we're going to reduce your expenses as needed and look for ways to increase your income. Honestly, I call that's the noodle budget step. 7, I'm going to show you how to separate your funds. And 8, we're going to get automated. Does that sound good? Does it sound good to you? Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So do number 1, make a money list. So a money list is just a list of all your expenses. No, I'm sorry. Do number 1 is a money in list. A money in list is just a list of all the income that comes in fairly regularly. So this is like the money that you make from your job. This is, you might get alimony, you might get Social Security, you might get child support, you might have a side hustle, maybe you have an Etsy platform, maybe you do what does that thing my sister does? Poshmark, right? So what money do you semi get in fairly regularly? You're going to put that on your money in list. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all. Actually, I'm going to share my screen. Let's hope I can get y'all know, if you've been a dream catcher, dream builder long enough, you know your good sister Budgetnista is not the best with the technologies. Okay, we're going to try though. We're going to try. Okay, I'm going to share. You let me know if you can see. View, enter full screen. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So you guys can see my screen? I think you can, right? Let me know if you can see my screen. I think you can. All right, so I'm just going to go back real quick because I'm really, okay, good. You guys can see my screen. Perfect. All right. So we're going to go to getgoodwithmoney.com. You see? Depending on when you guys are watching this live, but somebody might be watching this a year from now. The site will probably still semi look like this. So what you're going to look for is this, the toolkit. It's free. Okay. You're going to go to the toolkit and you're going to put, I'm going to put my Gmail in there, and it's going to take you to this toolkit page, okay? And why this is important is because you get some resources from here. So here is the download the most updated blank money list here, okay? It works best on desktop computer, so we're going to do that. We're going to open it up. Here's what we're looking for. So we're going to do the money in part, right? So here's what's so great. Even if you haven't gotten the book, you can still go to getgoodmoney.com. You can do it right now. You can then click on the toolkit and put your name and email in real quick. And because what happens is we get your email because we also will send you a link directly to the toolkit. So that way you don't have to keep putting your name and email in. So you have this direct link directly to the toolkit. All right, so here's the money in component, right? So money in name, right? So you might say, like I said, Etsy, you might have your job, alimony, child support. You're gonna put it all here and it's gonna total it up for you. Well, you're totaling it up, right? So the name of the thing and then the amount, that is the due number one, okay? And once you get that amount, you see right here, this green space. So I want you to put your monthly take home pay in, right? I want you to put that number here. Whatever that amount comes down to down here, I want you to put that number here. That's important, okay? So remember, this first column, the name, it might only be one thing. You know, maybe you work in insurance, you know, it might be two things. This is probably not gonna be a very long list. And then the amount that you make monthly, and then whatever the total is also goes in this line right here. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So that's due number one, money in. Super easy. Okay. Now due number two, money out list. Okay. So the money out list is this part right here. I want you to just write down the name of how much it's money in is these first two columns, money out, the second two. But we're just going to do this part right here. So this third column, just write down all the things that you spend money on. All the things I love. Okay. Actually, let me show you because that way I'm going to show you. I'm going to open this and put this here. But I also want to show you like a filled out money list. So that way it makes it easier. Okay. Here's a completed money list. See how I do you? See how I do you? Okay. So this person, right? This is we'll call her Stephanie. So Stephanie, maybe make it bigger because I'm not as young as I used to look. We all need a little eyesight help. Okay. So you see Stephanie's salary, she makes salary $3,200 a month. She works for Lyft, $650, Etsy shop, $300. You see? So that is due number one. Due number two is I just want you to write down your money out, all the things that comes out of Stephanie's paycheck: mortgage, car note, car insurance, student loan, federal student loan, cell phone, internet, Visa, MasterCard, store credit card. She has written down all the things. Stephanie's a single girl. But do you see here her total of what she makes? $4,150. She put that up here, $4,150. Okay. And so that is her money out. That is due number two. The money out, due number two, is really just third column. Now, the fourth column, if you're following along in the book, we're on page 36, is calculate how much each expense, money out, costs you monthly. I like to split those two steps because people tend to forget things if you do those two steps together. Okay. So due number three is this column right here, the fourth column. So how much does everything cost you monthly? Some stuff is obvious, like her mortgage, car note, but some stuff not so obvious. Like, for example, groceries might not be as obvious, or toiletry or grooming, right? So for example, I have locks, and I want to say I get my locks done about 4 times a year. And they cost me about $100 to get done. So I get them retightened because I know how to keep them up. So like just yesterday, I did a photo shoot for my podcast, Brown Ambition, and my edges was looking real raggedy and Andy. Some of y'all too young, you don't even know what that is. So anyway, I retighten my own edges. That's why sis is looking cute right now. I retighten my own edges. I can do my own locks, but it's just a lot. So I only really do get the full head done about 4 times a year. It costs about $100. So if I were to do the math for my locks, it would be 4 times $100. Okay, $100 divided by 4 months. So it's $25 a month. This is really important that you put the monthly cost of the things on your money out list. Does that make sense? Let me just go look to see if you guys are here. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, yes. Okay, you can see okay, good. I'm just looking at to see what some of y'all are saying. Okay. Y'all over here talking about tequila. Focus. All right. We're back. Okay. So, right. So that is money out. So that is due number 3, right? Then due number 4, if you're following along in the book, is page 38. No, we already did that. Oh, no, we didn't. Due number 4 is calculate your beginning monthly savings, right? Sometimes I like to call this the tears and tissue step. So what you're going to do is so this is Stephanie. If you look at Stephanie makes $4,150 a month. Stephanie is currently spending $4,710 a month. So you see right here, this top part, monthly take home in, money in, you see her $4,150, spending out. You see her $4,710. You see the subtraction, her beginning savings amount, that is due number 4. That's why I call it tears and tissue, because you might be negative. She's at $560. She's negative. Right. So Stephanie, at the very least, before we could talk about Noodle budget, we need to get her back in the positive. Okay. Okay. So that is due number 4. You're just going to calculate, it's just some subtraction. You're going to say, I make this, I spend this a month according to the sheet. Where do I stand? Okay. Does that make sense? So step 4 is right here, this beginning savings amount. All right. Next, due number 5. This is my favorite. You're going to assign control categories. So the control categories are right here. You see this right here? It's the second to last column. It says type BUBC. Okay. Now here are the control categories. There are 3 control categories. And we're going to start with the B's first. B's stand for bills. So I want you to put a B next to anything that's a bill. So you can see in Stephanie's list, her mortgage is a bill, car note, car insurance, student loan, cell phone, internet, credit card, utilities, gas. Where else she stopped? Where did she stop? Yeah. So those were all B's. Does that make sense? I want you to put a B next to all your bills. It's important for you to do this, and I'll explain why this is so important. This is really going to help you with the Noodle budget component. Okay. So you're going to put a B next to all the things that are bills. Okay. And then the next control category are your utility bills. Those are bills that fluctuate based upon your usage. So B stands for bill. The U in front of the UB stands for utility usage, up and down. These are bills that fluctuate up and down based upon your utilities or based upon your usage. Okay. Oh gosh, please. I'm not gonna be gross, but I'm like, I can feel my nose like running. I'm like, these daggone cats. Tell me never to go to Rihanna's house again. Excuse me. I feel like, child, these cats gonna take me out. Okay, sorry. So I want you to put a U in front of the B's that fluctuate. You're probably not gonna have a bunch of UBs, honestly. Like you see Stephanie has her utilities and gas are the only UB she has, right? So you know what Stephanie's missing on here? Stephanie, you don't got no water bill, girl? Oh, she does, her utilities, okay. So you might only have a few UBs, and that's fine. That's normal, okay? Now, everything else is the C. C stands for cash expenses or choice, right? Now, here's why it's important, this breaking down your bills in this way or breaking down your expenses in this way. Because when it's time, like Stephanie, she just needs to get like out of the negative, right? But when it's time for you to figure out your Noodle budget, or anytime you want to cut back on expenses, I want you to first look at your C's, because this is what people do. Like preschool teacher Tiffany was pretty frugal. Before I was a Budgetnista, I was a preschool teacher. Preschool teacher Tiffany was pretty frugal. And so when I wanted to cut back, sometimes the first thing I would think of is I would be looking at the B's first. You have the least amount of control of your B's. It doesn't mean you don't have any control. You just have the least amount of control over your B's. Where do you think you have the most control? It's really your C's. That's groceries, toiletries, grooming, dining, entertainment. So you want to hit those first. What can you do to cut back? You know? So for example, she has decided that she's going to cut back on entertainment, $100. So because you see this reduced monthly amount. So that's what we're looking at. We're actually at number 6, due number 6. Right? So her entertainment, she cut back. Dining out, she cut back. Grooming, she cut back. Okay. She also cut back on her, she actually lowered also too. It looks like she was paying $195 for her Visa credit card. It looks like she cut back and said, you know what? I'm going to pay the minimum so I can at least get back in the black. Right. So I want you to, but first and foremost, I want you to look at your C's first. Where can you cut where you have the most choice? Your cash expenses, you have the most power there. So start there first. Right. Then if it's still not enough, then you can go to your UBs because you have like mid-level control there. Right. So that means your usage. You can lower your gas bill. You can lower your utilities. You can lower your water bill and your electric bill based upon your usage. If it's still not enough, that's when you start looking at B's, because these are bigger choices you have to make. You might have to say, maybe I'll refinance my mortgage. You know what? Maybe I'm going to switch my car insurance company. Maybe I need to cut back on some of my cell phone services. You know, do we really need high-speed internet? I don't know. I know I do, or else we wouldn't be here. You know, so, but do you see what I mean? I want you to look at your C's first. This is due number 6. So due number 5 was assigning the categories. This was the second to last column. And due number 6 was really it's this column right here, the reduced money amount. I want you to figure out what you can do to kind of cut back. And this is also when we start thinking about Noodle budget. So your Noodle budget are anything that's not basically a B or UB can likely go or be reduced. Entertainment might go all together. Like, for example, I should have cut out my entertainment when I lost my job. Like, girl, what are we entertaining? Now, it's not forever. It's just like, sis, your mortgage is late. You still want to go out. Where are we? Where are we going? Right? Dining out, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That could have went all the way, been gone. It's part of my Noodle budget. Remember, your Noodle budget is if I had to eat ramen noodles, like if I had to get real tight, I don't need entertainment. I don't need going out. Grooming, sis, I know how to do my own, like literally how I learned how to do my own locks. This is called, like, the way you do these locks are called interlocking, because these are sister locks, right? So they don't twist these locks. So this is called interlocking. And so I literally, because I didn't have money during that time, I went on YouTube University and typed in how to do sister locks, how to interlock. And I found out that exactly how to do it. And I practiced it. And guess what? When the panorama hit in 2020, and no one could get their hair, nails, anything done, guess who knew how to do their locks themselves when I was doing TV shows and things? So that was so great because I didn't have to look crazy because I learned how to do my own. Everyone should learn how to do their own grooming, even if you don't have to. Let me just get a little sip of water. Okay, so what else could go? So groceries is not something that can go, but maybe you're reducing, maybe the type of groceries you get. So maybe you don't get the fancy cereal, maybe you're like, you know what, let's get, let's not get, like, I don't know, maybe there's a fancy water you get and regular water will do. So just being mindful that remember your Noodle budget is when you drop down temporarily until you can get back to where you want to be permanently. It's not forever, but it could be a few months. It could even be a couple of years. I'm not going to lie. Like, I struggled through the Great Recession for about 2 years. I was living at Noodle budget because I waited for so long. If I had here's the thing about Noodle budget. If the sooner you drop down, the shorter you'll be there. If you wait, then you have to backpedal, fix this. If I would have dropped down sooner, I wouldn't have lived in Noodle budget for so long. All right. So we're talking about step 6. This is when you reduce your expenses and look for ways to also increase your income. It's not just enough to reduce your expenses. Now it's time to get creative, because when people don't have enough money at the end of the month, like Stephanie, right? So Stephanie either has, if you look at her beginning savings amount, is negative $560. Stephanie either has a don't make enough issue or spend too much issue. So here's how you can kind of tell if you have a don't make enough issue versus a spend too much issue. You let me know in the comments what you have, right? So if you have a don't make enough issue, that means most of your money is going toward bills. That means you just don't make enough because most of your money is going to responsible bills. So if I were to add up, I can probably, just eyeballing this, most of Stephanie's money here is going to bills. She has a don't make enough issue. Now, if Stephanie had a lot of C's, not just the number of C's, but the amount. If I were to add up all her C's and they were almost equal to or more than her B's and UBs, then she has a spend too much issue. That means most of her money is actually going to things where she has a choice. They're going to her cash expenses. So some of us, we're like already frugal and money is tight. So we got to try to get even more frugal. That's not your issue, sis. That's not your issue. You have a don't make enough issue. So now we have to start to get creative of ways to bring in some money, but some of us, we're like, oh my goodness, things are tight. Let me just work some more hours or do some more overtime. That's not your issue, sis. You're just going to trick up that money as well because you have a spend too much issue. You need to pull back. Does that make sense? Let me just see what y'all saying over here in the comments. You better not be talking about tequila. Okay, yeah, because y'all, so you was talking about tequila before. Okay, so you can't, so define, I see you like, I can't type in a sheet. Yes, this is a PDF, so you have to print it out, okay? But you know what I will do? So I understand. So honestly, so for those of you who are wanting to do, so I've heard that before, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go into the, that's why I made the toolkit digital. So I'm gonna have, the only thing is like, I'll figure out, I'm gonna ask tech support how to have the Excel version, and then how to also have like, because this is the PDF version, you just download, you can write in it. Because I wasn't sure how to add the Excel version where if you typed into it, somebody else wouldn't also see it, they clicked on the link. But that's what tech support is for. So I will also add a Excel version so you can have that too, okay? So for now, this is just like literally a sheet of paper that you can print out and write in. But give me like a week or so, I'll have the Excel version ready and it'll be in that kit. The good thing is the toolkit, that's why, honestly, in the book, I referenced the toolkit. And one of the reasons why I put it and made it digital is for reasons like that, because I wanted to be able to, as better tools came along, my team and I could update them. Because I might say in the book, like, oh, put your money in an online only bank. Here's a list of banks I really like. And, if I wrote the banks in the book, 3 years from now, those banks might be defunct and gone. But if I put it in this digital toolkit, I can always update them. So I'm just, that's just a little behind the scenes too. Okay. All right. Okay. So good. All right. She said, I need wine. Oh, it's going to be all right. I promise you it's going to be all right. Because this is foundational work. I want you to think of, you know what? Remember when, you probably were like, maybe I wouldn't say like just out of middle school and you actually started like care about your looks and stuff and you was trying to find your look. You know what I mean? If you're, I know we have a couple of gentlemen, but it's mostly ladies here. Like I can remember like I'm aging myself. Like I was like I used to have like braids. I'm like, ooh, am I a Brandy braids girl? Remember Brandy used to have braids? And then I remember I was doing 2-strand twists. And then I had a fro, which was really cute, but a lot of work. And then I had a perm. It was a bob and it was cute, but I'm not gonna lie, my hair was not made for perm. So it was eating up my edges. And so it took I was trying all these different looks, like, and then it was like, do I want a thin brow, a thick brow? And then like, oh, it was a lot. Like, I didn't know how to do my eyeliner, and also too, like, oh, let's talk about skin care. Cause right now you see sis glowing. Okay, I'm 41. Look at the skin, tight, taunt. But it took me a while because I used to break out as a teenager and even in my 20s a little bit. So there was a lot of foundational work to get to this cuteness. And I know y'all cute too. I be seeing y'all. Y'all are delightfully cute. So remember all of that foundational work, and it was a lot. But once you got it, you could then build on that, because now I know and I'm confident in, Tiffany, this works for your skin. That does not work. I used to use apricot scrub. Girl, what? Apricot scrub is like taking a rock and just rubbing your face with it. And I used to use that every day, just roughing up my skin because I didn't know no better. But it's foundational work. You try this, you try that. You do this, you do that. It's the same with your money. I know people don't like to hear that, but once you get that foundational work, then it becomes easy. I don't think about my skin. I'm like, I know it works. I know, like, I'm a Burt's Bees lip gloss girl. I'm about to put some on right now because lip gloss always gotta be popping. I know black eyeliner from moi. I know like Sister Locks is it's a thing. It's a cute thing for me. And so once you get to understand like your foundation, then it's not so hard. I just promise you. I'm sorry, this cat. I told you, I'm gonna do it off screen. Right. So once you find your thing, so we're just building your foundation, and it is a lot of work, And so it's just like, it's a lot, because sometimes you're like, am I ever gonna get my hair together? Am I ever gonna get this skin together? And you did. Eventually you did. So that's what this looks like. It's just one step at a time. I honestly don't even want you to do everything all at once. I don't care if you just do, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do one step a week. That's better than nothing. And remember, there's times when, you would go through different hairstyles all summer and then you finally hit on it, even though you've been trying for 2 years, because Lord, when I tell you I had every hairstyle out there, I try to weave. I don't know how y'all weave girls do it because they look amazing, but I was this all day like, oh my God, I felt like I had fire ants. I could not do a weave, right? And some people could not do locks, And so I'm just saying all that to say that like you will get there eventually. But what did you it's so funny because you wouldn't give up on your hair, your brows. You were like, oh, we're going to find the right brow lady. It's happening. So sis, if you could be that determined for your brows and your hair and your edges and your skin, we could do this for our budget. It's worth it even more so. Okay. Because we gotta be cute financially, not just cute, physically. All right. So do number 6, reduce your expenses, and like I said, and the reason why we do it like this is because, and I walk you through this because I could do like shortcut stuff, but when the going gets tough, you wouldn't know how to recreate what we're doing now. I want to show you basically like pull back the curtain so you can be like, I know exactly what to do. My money in section. Okay, my money out. Okay, line item by line item. Okay, here are my B's and my bills. Let me focus on my C's first. I want you to be able to literally walk through, like, it's one thing that your mom can make a mean oxtail dish and she don't even look at it. She just be like, but when you try to recreate it, you're like, it doesn't come out like that. You need the step-by-step instructions until it becomes like your mama's dish. You see what I mean? So that's what we're doing now. I'm giving you step-by-step recipe instructions, but you're not going to follow these all the time. This is just until you get so comfortable cooking in the financial kitchen that you're good to go. Because that's how I am now. I don't do these steps anymore. I'm so comfortable cooking in the financial kitchen. I know mentally, like, no, move this, do the. I know that. And I promise you'll get there too, but you have to have the recipe to start with first. Okay. All right. Let's go to do number 7. So let's talk about, well, here's something that I talk about in the book. And so what happens if you're broke? So we do have Noodle budget, which is you're just getting rid of like kind of non-essential things just to float your way through until you're back on your financial feet. But there are moments when you actually are broke. And I have been broke. By broke, I mean, there's not even enough money for the bills. Like literally, I remember I used to look, I could not afford my mortgage and my car and my insurance and my cell phone and my internet. And I had to look at this piece of paper that you guys are looking at. And I had to make a decision of who do I have to pay, but it's not going to get paid. That's not an easy thing, but I have been there. And that I wish somebody would have told me what I know now because I misprioritized. I prioritized my bills over my own health and safety. Don't do that. You are more important than your bills. You are more important than your own health and safety. You have to put your mask on first or ain't nobody gonna get paid. They'll be all right. I promise you. So this is what I wish I would have told Tiffany back then. Girl, look at these things and ask yourself, what things that you have to pay to maintain health and safety? So for me, my mortgage, now for some people, if they don't pay their mortgage, they're gonna be homeless. But I lived in New Jersey and so did my parents. And so I was like, okay, if I don't pay my mortgage, they're gonna take my house, but I won't be homeless because I can move in with my parents, even though they're Nigerian. And even though I was gonna be 30 at that time, I'm gonna have the curfew that I did at 18, which I did. I had a midnight curfew at 30 because my dad is like, y'all home? It's the same rules. They did not care about my grownness. He said, if you're grown, get out. I was like, I'll stay here. So, but my mortgage was not a health and safety bill because it was not going to disturb my health or safety for not paying it. Was it going to mess up my credit score? Yes. Did it? Yes. Were the mortgage people mad? Yes. Did they call me back to back? Yes. Did I send a cease and desist letter, which is also in the toolkit to say, stop calling me and harassing me? I sure did. Did I say you can email me and send me letters? Yes. Okay. This is the real, right? And so for me, mortgage was not a health and safety bill. My car note, I didn't have because I had bought like a little putt. I think I had bought like my car for like $3,000 a few years prior. So I'd already paid it off. But my car insurance, that wasn't health and safety bill because I need to be able to drive to find a job. So I was like, it has to stay on. Student loans, I was like, sis, Sally, you ain't getting it. I was deferment queen, okay? internet. Thankfully, my parents had internet at the house. Visa card, MasterCard, any credit cards that I had, I was paying the minimum. And sometimes when I didn't have it, I didn't pay it. And I'm not saying that that's the ideal, but if I don't have enough to maintain my health and my safety, what else matters? So there were moments when I was behind on bills I needed to pay. I called those companies and said, I don't have it. And sometimes they had some sort of hardship program, which is great. And sometimes they didn't want to hear it. They're like, we don't care. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know. And like I said, my mortgage company was like, girl, sis, we don't care. And, you know, it was terrible. Like they used to try to put padlocks, not even try, they put padlocks on my condo when I would come home. And I got them boys to cut them off because it was illegal to padlock me out of my home that had not been foreclosed upon yet. It was not easy. So I'm not going to pretend like it was easy. It was hard, but I'm giving you the real so you can understand that sometimes the way to the other side is through the mud, and it's dirty and it's uncomfortable and it is a little scary, but you do make it through if you keep going. You know, because now here I am. The house I live in now is paid off. Okay. They took one place and now here I am 10 years later with no mortgage. So I'm sharing that there is something on the other side. Okay. So if you happen to be broke, I want you to not just do Noodle budget, but I want you to consider, dropping down to your health and safety budget. Okay. Okay. All right. But like I said, it's also really important that that you learn how to make a little more. I'll give you 2 tips. So if you are actually working at a job, but you're not making enough, consider doing something called a brag book. So a brag book, or my sister calls it her Go Me file. Shout out to Tracy. She's like, every time you say it, you have to credit me. I'm like, whatever. Hey, Trace. So Go Me. So that is a file that whenever you do something at your job, that really helps to the bottom line. Maybe it helped to save your company money or make your company money directly or indirectly. Maybe you were on the team, whatever that is. You put it like in you can email it to yourself. You can put it in a notebook, put it in a folder. But that way, when you go for your reviews, you're reminding them, look at what value I actually bring. So when you're asking for a raise, you're not really asking. You're like, I brought this value. I'm just asking for a little bit of that value right on back, right? Another thing you do to make additional money, like especially now more than ever, there are more entrepreneurs now than ever before. I don't know one entrepreneur friend that's not looking for somebody. I'm talking about graphic design. I'm talking about digital marketing. I'm talking about a personal assistant. And a lot of these things are digital, especially with the world we live in now. I'm talking about organizer. I'm talking about everything. Someone to answer their email, someone to take phone calls, someone to do PowerPoints. People are always looking. So what I suggest people to do is join these. There are these communities. So there are Facebook groups, but there's also sometimes like I don't know, like if right now Clubhouse is a thing. So there are groups where people gather, especially right now it's Facebook, right? When people gather, and oftentimes they're like, I know when I was looking for a website designer. I had posted in this Facebook group that was like a group for entrepreneurs, and I found someone. So you'd be surprised if you have a skill set that you think that would be valuable to an entrepreneur. You can make a little extra money on the side from home. Okay. All right. So step number 7, if you're in the book with us, I'm at page 51. Okay. 51. Is that 50? So separate your funds. So separate your funds is this right here. Name of account, this column. Let me check it on y'all real quick, because I can't see y'all. Okay. So the link, go to get, so I'm going to show you, go to Get Good with Money right here. Get Good with Money. Go and just click the Get Good with Money toolkit, but click that link and it'll take you. Okay. All right. So number 7, separate your funds. So this is this column right here, the name of account. And what's so great, this is why I like to label I haven't taught in so long. You got me dancing, right? So this is why I like to label my expenses, because now I know where to put them, right? When most of your B's are going to go in a bills account, a separate checking account just for bills. I believe in having 2 checking and at least 2 savings. Checking number 1 is your spending account. That is really typically where your money lands, right? It has a debit card attached. Checking number 2 is also at the same bank, typically as checking number 1, but it has no debit card because it's just for bills. So all your B's will go in that bills account. Now, so let me see. Like, so for example, gas, this is like gas for the car, right? So she has decided, Stephanie, to leave it in her deposit account because she wants to use her debit card at the pump, okay? So but you see most of her B's and UBs are going in her bills account. And then all your C's can stay in your initial checking account, that deposit, what I call a deposit account, that's where your money, this money she's making, this $41.50, it's landing in this deposit account. It's just literally the account where everything is deposited, all her money is deposited. So it is like a deposit / spending because the money lands there. Some goes to her bills account. Some is going to go to her savings account, which I'll explain in a minute. And then what's left is money that she can swipe. Okay. And I like doing that because then Stephanie never has to worry. Am I swiping away bill money? No. Am I swiping away savings? No. Am I swiping away like money for like, for savings? No. Okay. So so naming the account. I like to have that here. And then obviously you want to have your due dates. So due number 7 is separate your funds. And then due number 8. So the other 2 savings accounts, just so you know, savings account number 1 is your emergency savings account. And savings account number 2 is, I like to have a savings account for goals. So you want to save for emergencies, at least 3 months. And then I want you to ask yourself, based upon my industry, how quickly can I recover my money? Meaning like my mom, who was a nurse, 3 months was plenty. Nurses are always in high demand. My sister, an engineer, it was harder for her as an engineer to find a job. So she needed at least 6 months, maybe even up to 1 year's worth of emergency savings. The other savings account is savings for goals. Are you trying to buy a car, a house, a new pair of boots? Are you trying to save to invest? So that's what that savings account is for. You might even have multiple of those types of savings accounts, which is fine. Okay. So the last due number 8, get automated. This is why this due date column is so important, because now you can automate when the things are due. You can go into the bills account and say, well, one, you can say, hey, deposit account, I want you to transfer this lump sum on this day of the week. Or even better yet, you can ask payroll, hey, payroll, can you put some of my money in the deposit account, some of my money in my bills account, some of my money in my emergency savings, and some of my money in my my goals account? Because sometimes some payroll companies will allow you to split your paycheck. So that's 4 splits. Some of them won't, and that's okay because you can do the split yourself once it lands in your deposit account. So I like to call that the split it before you get it. Okay, that's even better. I have my husband on that plan because I'd be like, babe, did you transfer money to the bills account? He's like, huh? Which means no, because if you can, you can hear. So you heard me, brother. So I'm like, go to payroll and tell them put this much money in bills every paycheck, this much money, and then your deposit. So for his deposit spending account, that's his personal spending. So bills, we have joint bills. He has his personal spending, this much money in the emergency account that we have together, and then this much money in a goals account. So he has his own goals account. So you see, we have like a checking and a savings together, and then we have a checking and savings separate. Okay, that's how we work it out. There's no right or wrong. I'm just sharing that with you. So his money is split before he gets, so I don't have to worry about him splitting up that money. So that is the automation component. That's due number 8 and the last step, get automated. Let me see what I'm doing. I'm doing good on time, so we can take some questions. So yeah, those are the 8 steps to budgeting straight from Get Good with Money. If you have not gotten Get Good with Money, sis, honestly, don't do that, bruh. We're mostly sis. You can literally go to getgoodwithmoney.com. It's a New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, US Today bestseller. Okay. So let me take me off of stop share. Hey, I'm back. Where are you guys though? I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Okay. Yes. Did it stop sharing? Yes, it did. Okay. All right. Yes. You got it. How does it feel? Good. How does it feel? Are you guys feeling good? Are you good. So yes, all the tools are here. So I think the biggest thing I wanted to take away from today's lesson was that the Noodle budget is a temporary drop in spending and may feel a little uncomfortable, but the quicker you get to that Noodle budget drop, the shorter your stay is. because it allows you to constrict your expenses, get yourself together, and then move forward. If you wait, you end up spending money from your saving. If you're like me, I took all the money out of my retirement account and do not do that. And so as a result, I'm now still fixing some of those choices from 10 years ago. So you want to drop down and get your Noodle on as soon as you can, so you don't have to live there as long. Okay. Hi, Tiffany. So what you just explained in the automation section? Okay. So the automation section is this. The automation section is this, is that ideally you can have your payroll, whoever's paying you, split your money automatically into your spending account, your bills account, savings for emergencies, savings for goals, splitting that. If not, you can do that automation yourself. Then let's just say they're like, we're only going to pay you to one account. Let it go to your deposit account. And then you say, hey, deposit account, I want you to transfer this amount of money to my bills account on the 15th or the 1st every month, right? Or whatever days, like if you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, you might say, I want to make that transfer on the 2nd and the 16th, right? And then you're going to have your bills account automatically pay your bills for you if you feel comfortable doing so, if you know you have enough in your bills account. So that's an automation as well. Then you're going to say, hey, deposit account, I want you to automatically on that same 2nd of the month and the 2nd and the 16th, put money in my emergency fund. Hey, deposit account, I also on the 2nd and the 16th, I also want you to make an automatic transfer to my savings account, for goals. You see what I mean? And you know the amounts because you're going to go back to your list, your money list, and you can just add up how much money goes into bills, how much money do I have set aside for savings, how much money do I have set aside for goal savings. You see what I mean? Okay. No. So LaDoya, so if you have the Audible version of the book, that's what's so great. So I wanted to make sure. So LaDoya, anybody who, I don't care what version of the book you have, if you go to getgoodwithmoney.com, the toolkit is available to everyone, even if, because you know I love to give, I really do, even if you have not bought the book, because I wanted, my rule is, well, I don't know if you know it's my rule, but this is my rule. You don't have to spend money with me to get help, because I know what it was like when literally $20 was like $2,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have $20. Okay, I gotta let this last for 2 weeks. So I know what that's like. So if you go to getgoodwithmoney.com, the toolkit button is very prominent. So if you got the Audible version, you can get the toolkit. You got the ebook version, you can get the toolkit. You have no book, you can get the toolkit. But I'll say this, even if you, here's the secret, right? I know my publisher's gonna be like, girl, stop selling this, stop in your sales. But I'm gonna be all right either way. If you really are struggling and you want access to the book, sis, go to the library. Although I do know that, taping this now, that I've checked with a number of libraries and there are 10, 20 people in line, but still they're available at your local library, or you can ask your local library to get it for you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, good question. So Tiffany asked, would you recommend reducing your 401k savings, the percentage amount you're contributing overall per paycheck temporarily, of course? Tiffany, I would not. Only if my health and safety were at risk. That's the only time. Because you have to understand, Tiffany, Errol, I love your name, by the way. It's very cute, right? You have to understand, Tiffany, it is your younger self's job to look after your older self. So Tiffany, I like to give my older self a name. I read this study one time that said people don't set aside for their older self because they feel disconnected from their older self. I said, well, let's disconnect. I named my older self. Her name is Wanda. And Wanda, see, Tiffany is nice. Not to say Wanda's not nice, but Wanda is sassy. Because, once you get to be 80 years old, you're like, I can say whatever I want, right? That's what I imagine. Anyway, so Wanda is not trying to work. Wanda is tired. I'm young. And I can go out there and move and shake and do what needs to be. So I need to do what I need to do now to make sure that Wanda will be okay. That is your responsibility to take care of your Wanda. So unless the only way that Wanda would be okay with you putting less away for her is if Tiffany would be in dire straits. You wouldn't have enough food to eat. You would be unhealthy. You'd be unsafe. Because then Wanda's like, well, dang, if you're unhealthy and unsafe, you're not going to make it to Wanda's age. She won't be there anyway. So that's the only time that I would reduce my money to my 401k, because it's so important to take care of your older self, because literally all you got for the most part. So yeah, that's one of the biggest regrets that I have is taking money from Wanda's account. She's still fussing me out as a result. She said, look at you. You just decided you just gonna take all my money. And I did. I took it all out. And honestly, it's my biggest regret because I have to work double time to put that money back. I'm 41 years old now, and I'm working double time to put that money back. And so, I mean, things happen. Like I share with you my financial mistakes. So like I said, I always say I'm not your financial guru. I'm your financial girlfriend. I'm here to say, sis, I use that perm. It took my edges. Don't do it. Or you know what? This Burt's Bees oil cleanser is doing a sis right. Okay, if you got dry skin, and this is like for real, like Burt's Bees has an oil cleanser that got my skin looking like how it's looking. Because it was drying up like a prune, honey. But like I realized that with my as you get older, sometimes your skin dries out. At least mine did. And that oil cleanser is everything. So like I'm not an esthetician. I'm just girlfriend talking. So same thing. Like I'm here to share my mistakes so you don't make those mistakes as well. Okay. Let me see. Yes, for all the Wandas. Yes. Okay. I'm just looking at some of your questions. Let me see. So if you're looking for, do you want me to go over? Okay, I'm gonna do the steps real quick for you again. Okay, get your pen out. You would know the steps if you had gotten the book. Let's see, kind of. All right. Step 1. These are the do's. 1, make a money in list. That is the money that you're bringing in, your income. How much are you bringing in a month? Not just your job. Maybe you have Etsy. Maybe you have child support, whatever. Step 2, make a money out list. This is just the words, like what are the things you spend money on? It doesn't have to be monthly, just what do you think you spend money on in general, right? If you don't know, your debit card statement knows, your credit card statement knows. Number 3, calculate how much each expense on the money out list costs you monthly. So what's the monthly amount of the money out list? So line by line, you have those words on there. What does it cost you monthly? Do a little math. If you have lunch twice a week, and it costs you $20, that's $40 a week. There's 4 weeks in a month. $40, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is $160. That goes on the money list because you want the monthly amount. You want money in for a month, money out for a month. So that's number 4. No, number 3. Number 4, calculate your beginning monthly savings. That's just separate, subtracting what you make monthly and subtracting what you spend monthly from what you make monthly. That is step 4. I call that tears and tissue because oftentimes you find that you're overspending. So that is number 4. What is your beginning monthly savings? I call it beginning monthly savings because that's where you are right now. So it might be a negative number, which is okay. Number 5, assign the control categories. Remember, B for your bills, UB for utility bills that fluctuate based upon your usage, and C for everything else. Those are your cash and choice expenses. Okay? That's assign those control categories. That's number 5. Number 6, reduce your expenses as needed and look for ways to increase your income. So this is also the Noodle budget component, number 6. So you're going to go line by line and ask yourself, do I really need this expense to be okay? And you should know your Noodle budget, even if you're not, like, let's just say right now, my husband and I, we're okay. We don't need to drop down to our Noodle budget, but best believe I know what it is. I know what expenses on those lists that if things got hard, if budget needs to tank and no more Literature Academy, whatever, I know instantly what I would cut out. You should know what your Noodle budget is even before you need it. The Noodle budget is like, sis, I need you to know me before you need me. Okay. Noodle budget is a little sassy, but Noodle budget is right. All right. So that's number 6. Reduce your expenses if you need it, and look for ways to increase your income. Because remember, you might not have a spend too much issue. You might have a don't make enough issue. If you have a spend too much issue, you have a lot more C's. If you have a don't make enough issue, you're spending a lot more on the B's and UBs. Okay. All right. And then number 7, separate your funds. And here are the 4 accounts, right? So this is for, I think Nikki asked this question. Here are the 4 accounts. 1, your deposit/savings account. This is the checking account that you already have. It's attached to your debit card. This is where your money lands and then separates out to the other account. So what's left is your spending money. So it's the initial deposit, and then the rest of the money like splits off, and then it leaves just your spending money. So that's why I call it your deposit / spending account. Checking account number 2, your bills account. This is where you're going to put your bill money. You do not need a debit card with your bill money, because you don't need to be up in Target swiping away your bill money. The only way you should be paying your bill money is maybe it's automatically paid out. If you're not sure if you're going to have it, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, you sit down and make the transfers yourself. But your bill money should not have, your bill checking account should not have a debit card. So 2 checking and then 2 savings. Savings number 1, your emergency savings. This is your first line of defense if you should lose your job or experience financial hardship. Your emergency savings account. Second savings account, your goal savings account. The goals are up to you. It might be a new pair of shoes. It might be sister lock installation, because it's not cheap to get sister locks installed, right? It might be saving to invest. It might be saving to get a house or a car for college, whatever that is. Your second savings account, okay? Okay. And then, so that's to separate your funds. That's number 7. And then 8, get automated. So you can either automate directly from payroll if they allow you. So have your payroll split your money before you get your money. Have your payroll department put some money in your deposit / savings account. Put some money in your bills account. You tell them the amount. Put some money in your emergency savings account, and put some money in your goal savings account. So that's a split it before you get it automation, if they allow it. If they don't, you do your own automation. All that money can land in your deposit account, and then you automate the transfers from deposit to bills, deposit to emergency, deposit to goal savings, and then what's left is your spending. Does that make sense? You know? Yeah, so I hope. Okay, so I'm just looking at some of the questions. I'm just like, all right, hopefully that makes sense. So that was the review. So if you're a teacher, you know that there are 3 parts to teaching a lesson, at least I believe. There's the plan. I told you what we was going to do, right? Didn't I tell you the plan? I said, what we're going to do today is you're going to learn how to create, maintain, and at least partially automate your budget, and learn what a Noodle budget is and how to activate it if you need it, right? Then I said, we're going to do the do. We did the 8 steps, your do's. And then the review is what we just did. Plan, do, review. So you should be good. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, okay, some of these questions, I'm going to try to stick to just the budget question, because some of you guys have questions all over the place, which is fine. Oh, Stephanie. Hey, she said I'm talking to her literally. Oh, are you considering your promotion for the bracelets and or upcoming seminar? Oh, the bracelets? I don't know what we're going to do with these bracelets, girl. Y'all been asking me about these bracelets for the longest. For those who don't know, these bracelets are, see on the cover of the book, they are your spending priorities in order. They say need over love, over like, over want, because I believe that that's how you should think of your spending. I'm gonna figure out something to do, because y'all have been asking me for these bracelets for years. Yeah, I do like automation. Automation is the new discipline. And here's the thing. So for those of you who are feeling like, and I'll end with this, right? And so Terry, I have been there when I have literally, you know how people say, oh, I'm broke, but they have money in savings. Well, I'm broke, or they have money in retirement. No, when I said broke, I meant it. That I was, I'm gonna say, well, how old was I when I moved back home? I was 30 years old, and I wasn't broke just then, but by 31, I was 31, 32, 33. Broke meaning I had no money in retirement. I drained it to try to save my condo. They still took it to foreclosure because I ran out of money. I had no money in my savings account. I had no money in my checking account. Broke meaning whatever money I had was whatever I could find in the change purse, whatever dollar maybe I forgot in my pocket. I mean, like broke meaning that literally I used to go to events that I knew had food, because I knew, like, once I moved out of my parents' house, I moved into a room. So a girlfriend of mine had found this brownstone, and same thing, she had lost her job and everything, and she was like, hey, I've rented a room in this brownstone and I really don't want to live with strangers. Do you have $500 a month? I did not, but all the places I used to volunteer for, one of them, the United Way, actually gave me a contract. And it was like, okay, it wasn't much money. I think I was making, like, I want to say $1,200 a month as a grown person. It's not much, but it was enough for me to afford that $500 a month for rent. But think about $500, that left me with $700, right? Is that what it is? Yes. $700 to pay all the rest of my adult bills. How? I didn't, right? And I remember literally we would go to events. And we would go to events based upon whether they had food, like for real. And so I'm sharing all that was literally, I'm 41 now. That was ages 30, 31, 32, 33. That's how hard it was. It took me a long time. And it's likely not going to take you as long. I don't know. It just took me a long time to bounce back. So to 33. So I am now 41. So what is that? 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. 8 years. But really, I had been doing decent as of maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So really, it took me 3 years of really hard living, but it took me 4 years to get on my feet. And I got on my feet. And it's not easy, but it's doable. And what happens is that's a lesson. I mean, I'm grateful for it. At the time, it was not fun, but I'm grateful for it because no one can take that from me. If all this would have fallen down, what? I am resourceful. I was babysitting. I was doing studies. I was doing surveys. I was tutoring. I am resourceful, And so I'm sharing that because I don't want you to think dang, I'm grown and I've lost and that's it. That's not it. It's not, I promise you. It seems like it's it, and it's okay to feel like that because I felt like that, but you can't stay there because if you stay there mentally, you stay there physically, And I'll say this, something that really helped me a lot was I used to have my big dream, and a friend of mine reminded me of this because I forgot how to dream like this. I used to have my big dream and I would kind of put it either on my vision board, but also I would kind of pin it in my mental vision board. And my big dream was I make $300,000 a year. I'm able to pay, help my parents. I'm able to do this and that. And I travel and I have a business. It was impossible stuff. And this is when I was at one point I was sleeping on my sister's couch because I couldn't live with my parents no more. So I begged my sister to let me live with her, my younger sister. I stayed with her. It was supposed to be 3 months. I ended up staying with her for a year, but I had written down, I keep a journal, and I had written down all this stuff. This is my big impossible dream. I didn't have no money. I wasn't even working at the United Way. So I wasn't even making $1,200 a month at the United Way. It was hand to mouth babysitting, and thank God for unemployment. Okay. But I refused to douse the flame inside. I said, no, this can't be it. I was 32 on her couch and I said, this can't be it. So I put down, and I was just telling my sister this the other day. I said, put your big dream up on the board, your mental board, your physical vision board, put it up. Your big dream should not be realistic. It should be big. I just heard this thing from Dame Dash today, and it moved me, and I hope it moves you. He said, dreams don't cost nothing. Whether the dream is small, medium, or big, it literally costs you nothing to dream. So why are you going cheap on the dream? Girl, you can go as big as you want. I can say, I want to be Oprah. Just me saying that, it doesn't cost me anything to say that. I don't have to come out of pocket. So dream as big as you can think. And my big dream was $300,000 a year. I was like, girl, it sounded crazy, but I put it down and I put my head down. And guess what? I worked on this. The basic budgeting, and then, okay, I could work at the United Way. Oh, I could do a little this. Okay. Oh, the Budgetnista. Okay. Oh, and slowly but surely, one foot in front of the other. But I never kept my eye off that big goal. Even if I was working on the smaller things in life, that was always up. And now $300,000 a year, sis, my businesses gross more than $300,000 a month. A month. Woo! If that doesn't give you chills, honestly, I'm like, more. Now, I don't bring home $300,000 a month, but my businesses gross more than $300,000 a month. And I'm not saying that you're going to have a business that's going to gross more than $300,000 a month, because that was my dream and my goal. But I promise you that if you put it on the board and you are consistent to it, that the work begets the dream, begets the goal, begets the work, begets the dream, begets the goal. Because do you see me? Brown, wild. Y'all know I'm wild. These people out there don't know. Y'all know. Y'all dream catchers. I'm wild. You see me looking all professional on my book? Please. Right? That's for the people who don't know me. I have to be on there now I'm crazy. This book is a New York Times bestseller. How wild. Ex-preschool teacher, Tiffany. What? lives in her Target pajama. Like I'm wearing Target pajamas right now and my leopard print Target tank top under this shirt. Wild Tiffany. I'm pleased. You can't tell me the things you want can't happen. They can, but first you set that dream. Don't go cheap on your dream. And then you lay the fundamentals and the foundation, and then you build from there. Okay. And then you build from there. It does get more challenging when you get older, but it is not impossible. I promise you. It is not. I know, Terry, it seems like it's not, because what can be done in 1 year can be done in 10 years. What can be done in 10 years can be done in 1 month. I have seen people accomplish what has taken people 10 years in 1 month. It's really mindset. That shift of a mindset. Like the other day, a friend of mine was telling me, because I was telling her, she was asking me, what did I want to grow my business to? And I was like, oh, maybe $20 million, but that's it, girl, because it's a lot of work. And she's like, She's like, I'm going to grow my business to 50 million this year. And I was like, what? You just started. She's like, yeah, but we made 10 million last year. I'm like, in your first year? How? Meanwhile, she has an online school as well. And because her mindset was different, I had decided that the more you make, the harder it is. And so it is so that I have to put the burden on my back and never sleep and never eat and never. That's why I had told myself that to go from 10 million to 20 million meant more work, less time with family and friends, and then harder. And meanwhile, she's like, no, 50 million, and here's how. And I was like, and then I realized that it was my mindset that had made things hard. It wasn't. And once I started to I've been really working. I struggle with this too. So I'm not even getting on you, Terry, because I get it. Once I start to really work on my mindset, because at any moment in time, Terry, think about it this way. I always think to myself, because I remember I had read this article where this couple was renovating their house. It was like an old house. And inside the wall was like $1 million. Like whoever had lived there before had, I don't know if they had robbed the bank. I don't know what they did, but they had hidden it like 60 years prior in the wall. At any moment in time. So that's not hard work. That literally in this house, my house was built in 1920. There could be a bag of diamonds someplace in this house. Just as easily as I could work 20 years to make $10 million, or I could just bust open a wall and find a bag of diamonds. I'm sharing that to say that like what we think is hard is relative. That that's not so. Who said making $10 million is hard? Jay-Z can literally call right now and be like, Nike, want to do a thing. Beyonce is in on it. $10 million right there. So is that hard? No, right? So it's because Jay-Z, yes, has built this foundation, but $10 million for Jay-Z is not hard. So it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. Because I hope because I feel like I'm all over the place, but because these are lessons I'm learning too. So I'm trying to share as I'm learning that I have dictated what's hard. So I'm trying to dictate that it's not hard. So for example, I'll give you like a concrete example, then I'm going to wrap up because I could be here all day with y'all, right? And so for example, a college reached out to me and said, hey, Tiffany, do you have a curriculum to go along with the book, Get Good with Money? And I was like, my heart started racing. I said, oh my goodness, they want to buy, colleges spend good money. It might be $50,000 a year to buy it. Oh my goodness, it's going to take me a year. It's going to take me so much time. And then I had met with my coach. I really do believe in coaching, the right coach. I had met with my coach, Dr. Green. She's also a therapist. So when I'm acting crazy, she'd be like, bring it on in. I had met with my coach and I said to her, Dr. Green, it's going to be so much work. She said, why? Who said that? And then I remember, I don't know if y'all remember my challenges, my literature challenges, right? So, I have the literature challenges. I've got like the fundamentals, right? I got the net worth edition, the credit edition. Do you know, I had hired this young woman named Taylor to help me, because Taylor's a financial writer, to help me, in the beginning, I used to do the challenges myself, and it got to be too overwhelming. So Taylor was an intern, and then I hired her. I was like, okay, Taylor, here's what I want the challenges to be. She would do the research, she would put it together, and then I would look over it and be like, yes, no. Then after a while, Taylor got really good at writing how I would want it to be done. So she started to create the challenges, and I would just go in, check. And I was like, Tiffany, so you have decided, who said that you have to do the Get Good with Money curriculum or course yourself? Why? Who said? You can't just call up Taylor and be like, hey, Taylor, literally the book is written. You didn't write this book, Tiffany? Taylor, it's actually less work for Taylor, because normally I just say, Taylor, I want to do a challenge about net worth. Here's some things I'm thinking about. And she had to put together the outline. So Taylor doesn't have to do nothing. She just has to take this book and put it into course form. So here I was like, oh my gosh, to make an extra $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, you know, for the Budgetnista, it's going to be so much work. No, it's not. The work is done. The foundation is built. I messaged Taylor on Facebook on Tuesday, and she said, "What's up?" I was like, "Hey Taylor, you still doing course writing work?" She said, "Yep." Because Taylor had a baby and she stopped for a while. I said, "I'm thinking of turning Get Good with Money into a course." She said, "Okay." And I said, "I'll send you a copy." She said, "I already have one." And she was like, I said, "Okay." She said, "I'll have a proposal to you by next week to let you know." I said, "Literally, I just want to be like, you don't have to research anything. What's in this book? I just want it in the course." She said, "Okay." Can you imagine? I don't have to do the work. That was my work. I just have to ask Taylor. Taylor's going to tell me the amount. I have to decide if I want to pay it or not. And honestly, if I say, "Hey, Rutgers, how much?" Then Taylor tells me how much. And I'll know if I have the money for it because it'll be paid for by whatever college. And then I can sell it to other colleges, and literally just uploading it to a platform. And I could pay somebody to upload it to a platform. But I just want you to understand, do you see the difference in mindset from it's going to take me a year to build up the course, blah, 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 all that work to make extra money to, Tiffany, that's not true. Who told you that's true? You know someone who writes courses. The book is already done. It's the Jay-Z conversation. "Hey, Nike," that's all I had to do after I'd already made the foundation, you know? And so I just want you to leave. This my nephew. I'm babysitting today. Mimi, I'm teaching class. I'll be right out. Okay. Okay. She's 4. So on that note, that's a little sign to get off. All right. So I just hope that really gave you what you need. Okay. So yes, because it gave me what I needed. So all right, y'all. Smarter, not harder. Exactly. And like I said, I share all those things with you because I want you to know that I am not perfect in this journey, that I struggle through it mentally and financially and things too. And if I can be as imperfect and wild, as crazy as I am and still make it happen, sis, Terry, you seem like you have a lot more good sense than I do. So you're going to be all right. Okay. You're going to be all right. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed tonight. All right. Bye.